Well, I know one thing. You don't wait for your enemy to come to you.
I have lost all my skills. And now I know how it feels to be utterly helpless, like you and your sister.
He had your gun in his hand.
Sing the song for me, Silky. This is murder.
And the thing about saying the wrong word is that A, I don't notice it, and B, sometimes orange water given bucket of plaster.
It's the Al Travis Show. We've got him, my buddy Paulie, Minnesota Sports Lifer on the program. We're going to talk some heady stuff coming up here in a moment. I don't want to jump right into that. Let's go with the good news first. Once again, if you can find yourself anywhere near Savage, coming up, what is that, today?
Tonight.
How are you up this early and going to be able to rock and roll to the early mornings of the morning the next day? How?
It's a thing. It's like, so I take half
What's the
day
main
off.
thing?
It's the main thing. I take a half day off to practice,
Okay.
and then also I'll take a nap because it's going to be a long stretch. So we start at 8:30. The music starts. I know we've got some people coming, so if you want a table, it's going to be be there 7:38, and we play till about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then we tear down, and I'm home at 3. So a long day, but it's fun. We're all set, and we're really excited. Really excited.
The band is the main thing. Comes highly recommended for folks here from the Al Travis Show. Only thing I would do to improve it, started at noon, but that's me. And then I could get home at a decent hour. But it's a great band. It is at Neeson's Sports Bar and Grill with food, drinks, and live music. It's really a all-encompassing place. It's got
there. You go. Yeah. We've been there several times. They expanded their stage during COVID when things were quiet. They blew up their stage and made a larger stage for it, and it's perfect for us. We got 7 people. Sometimes stages are a little cramped, but that's when we get spread out and have some fun. So we're fired up.
All right, so that's this evening. If you happen to be in Savage, get yourself there. What is that? Right on what street was that?
Right on Highway 13. Yeah, right on Highway 13 okay. Right. By the old El Loro. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of cute looking downtown area. The main thing, Neeson Sports Bar and Grill. So we want to make sure we get that out there. Now is the good news. The bad news, and I don't want me to do this to you, Paulie, live on the air, but it'll be fun to see if you don't cry. Jim Marshall passed. This is a legend for you, and I know this hurt you bad.
Oh, absolutely. No, the Purple People Eaters, you never thought that these were Iron Men. The guy played 270 straight games for the Vikings, 282, I think, because he was with Cleveland for a year before that. Didn't miss a game honestly, think about that. And there were many weeks when he didn't feel like it. He was hurt. Stuff was bugging him. He was a legend, and on and off the field, he was just amazing. He was the captain of that defense, one of the best defenses of all time. No, that one really, really hurt. So, Vikings were really, really good when I was in those sports formative years. Whoever's good between 9 and 13, when you're 9 years old to 13 years old, that's who you stay with the entire time. At the time, the Vikings go to Super Bowls, just about every year. And so I was all in on everything Vikings. And
you blame Jim Marshall then for this addiction you have, this weird fetish you have for Minnesota sports. You're blaming Jim Marshall for this. I see it. I think there's something to it. You could write a book on it.
It could be. And do I blame a guy who's gone and speak ill of him, or do I thank him for the emotional roller coaster that is Minnesota sports, right? But we've talked about this. We're at the age now where we're going to lose some of these legends again. People who are really important to us, whether it's sports or music. But Alan Page is just a rock star of a human, and he's getting up there too. I really worry about that. These are we got to enjoy these people while we have them, and but it's going to get tough.
And you talk about the 276 games and never missing a game, even when he needed. These guys weren't making the money they're making now.
No.
You know what I'm saying? He was playing for dirt, nothing, but he needed the money. They weren't making $1.5 million a weekend. And, these are guys who played because they needed to play for the money. And then you go watch Alan Page and becomes a Supreme Court justice, by the way, when he's done. Don't tell me you don't have your stuff together.
Yeah, and published author and a law degree and all of that. But the most guys had other jobs in the off season. They didn't make enough money during the season they would go sell cars or insurance or whatever. They, it was a different time. But all of the success that NFL players have today, they owe guys like Jim Marshall for late, because they made it riveting TV. This team was good. They were fun to watch, and if you weren't a Viking fan, you probably loved to hate them because you could never beat them. So if you were a Cowboy or a Redskin fan or whatever, and it's sad, really, really sad. It's
Kids
tough.
today won't understand this, but back in those days, the Wisconsin people were jealous of us. We had
They
that
were.
on them. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah,
but
I remember those.
Yeah, the Packers were winning titles in the '60s, but then
Then
they had
we were
hard times for 20
Yeah.
years, and the Vikings owned the Packers and the Lions, and Bud Grant made his money on winning that division. He would beat up on everybody. He might lose one division game every year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was a sweep every time, and that's how they got the gaudy records. They just owned that division. Packers. Think about that. Packers had quarterbacks like Lynn Dickey or David Whitehurst, or that. I'm excited for at some point the Packers are going to have another stretch like that where they don't have a really good quarterback. I'm really waiting for their Christian Ponder years. I really am.
Yeah, that's so funny because you just hear kids checking their phones. Is that true? 60s and 70s records they're looking.
Don't
true.
question the Minnesota sports life.
That's
Don't
exactly
question.
right. Don't do it. All right, the roller coaster there we're on. Marshall passing, Neeson's, Marshall. Now we're going to go. I'm going to start with the best. I will get to the negativity. The Minnesota Lynx. I'm on the bandwagon now. I'm sorry. I need some positivity. They're 20% through the season. It's a 40-game season, something like that. 8-0 as far as starting the season out. I think this could be worth watching and getting into.
Oh, absolutely. And the Liberty, I believe, are still undefeated or close to it. And so it seems like they're on a rematch collision course for
we have them in
last year. And
we have them in 3 games, so we could be 11-0 before we beat into those guys. How much fun would that be?
I think so. And the Caitlin Clark effect, I think that's really boosted the WNBA's popularity and brand.
Yeah.
I would think that would become a national TV game, and they're going to get good numbers because a lot of people are paying more attention. So speaking of that, leave it to the women in this state to show us how to win. The Lynx are the only one in recent years to have any kind of championships. Thank you, Lindsay Whalen and Simone Augustus and all of them. And then the Frost comes back and does back-to-back championships as well. Guys can't do it, but boy, our women are showing us how it's done.
All right. I'm not jumping on that. I'll only get in trouble. Because I brought this up. I want your opinion. Well, I don't know if I could have watched a Frost broadcast on television. I don't even know if they do that. I know what channel that would be on, but I never saw any Frost. Maybe it's a local thing. I don't know. I don't think I saw Frost on.
It was FanDuel, and they had some local too. So if you a little searching, you could find them. Yeah.
Well, that's going to take some effort on my part. But the Lynx, on the other hand, this is Paulie. You look at me like that one more time. I do everything I can. I'm a married man. I do everything I can to get as much sports watching in as possible. I literally took off last night to watch an NBA game with 2 teams that had nothing to do with me. You have to make a call at some point, and women's hockey that I'd have to search FanDuel to find didn't percolate to the top this season. I apologize.
Okay. No,
there's only so many hours. I'm not going to miss a Viking game, even the 8:00 in the morning ones. Thank you for Europe. I thought we conquered them back then. Why are we doing this? I have no idea. So you got the Vikings. You got how many Twins games can you watch? Watch some of the Twins game yesterday for a moment. We're down. We'll talk about that in a minute. Turn that bad boy off. Then you put some basketball. There's only so much I can do and still have a life. I also have to golf,
you have to golf, and that's a 4 to 5 hour chunk of time as well. So,
including beverage time after. Okay,
I get it. I'm just telling you, if we're looking for championships in Minnesota, we've got them, but it's the women's side.
1 minute commentary, and as much as I'm watching the Lynx now, again, I want to jump on this bandwagon. Lower that net 6 inches, and I think you got a real game worth watching. It's fun to see the breakaway, and then it's a layup. Get it down 6 inches, and they will have a much more entertaining highlight reel. The good pass to somebody for a layup is boring highlight reels. I don't know. I think it could be a more entertaining sport.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think the idea of what it would take to do that at all the levels, right? Because then you got to
Yeah.
have all the high schools have to be able to adjust that.
Yeah.
And change. You'd be changing that game for every level. So
Yeah.
how are those small colleges doing that? Do
Little
they have the
gyms,
equipment
yeah.
to change the thing, and some of the older ones, they don't have the adjustment, there. So that would take quite a bit. Now, NBA and WNBA together, they're making good money. What if they invested in that and helped that happen? I don't know.
Am I lying though?
I hear
Just be
you.
more entertaining. I'm not saying it doesn't change the game a ton. I presume they'd all, even Caitlin Clark, would have to do some different shooting because the ball at the arc and but they figure that out. I just think it'd be more entertaining. I throw it out. Not trying to be mean.
Well,
all right.
Good. You know what? Why don't you work on that? Why don't you write a letter? Why don't you write a letter to the WNBA and
I
see
just
if
threw it
they'll-
out to all of Minnesota and the Lynx people, and I jumped on the bandwagon. They're listening. I hope. We'll talk. We got to go to break.
Okay.
We got to come back. I feel sorry, Paul. I don't know this David, what's his name, Festa? But I presume Mr. Festa is in a, what do they call that? The
Fetal position.
Fetal position in the locker room still today with just hot water beaming down on him. We'll talk about that game next with Paul on the Al Travis Show.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease! It'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc., Midwest Money Management, and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
The Al Travis Show, the last place you can go and hear all sides. Respectful, thoughtful, and grateful.
We've got a Minnesota sports lifer in here now. Back to the some more sad stuff. This is a roller coaster day today. The Twins gave up a season high number of hits, season high number of home runs in a game, which of course leads to a season high number of runs, which ended up giving the A's the ability to stop a 9-game losing skid. I don't think you can blame it all on this Festa kid. But what a tough start. I think he was down 8 runs in 4 innings. It was just bing, bing, bing. Your thoughts?
Not worried about it at all. Not at
Get
all.
out. You're not worried at all.
This was a 4-game series against the Athletics, who have no home. They're moving out of Oakland, heading to Vegas, but this is a tweener year, and they're in Sacramento at a minor league park. And it's not a very good team. This 4-game series, the Twins had thumped them for 3 straight.
Yeah,
thumped him for 3 straight. And so, can you go for a 4-game sweep? Well, that'd be nice, but 3 out of 4 is just fine. And the Twins are,
and they are 500 for that road series. I think it was 10 or 11 games, 11 days away from home. So that's not bad.
Yeah, no.
But if you're this kid, how do you get out of bed? I'm sorry, you get your shot, and we'll talk about Pablo getting out. But you get their shot, you get called up the next day. He's in Oakland, and he's ready to play. And holy Hannah.
Yeah, no, that it is tough. And that there's some questions about, what do we have in the next tier of the pitchers? It's Zebby Matthews and David Festa, and who can take the mantle. Because, things happen like the Pablo thing.
Can you agree with me, Paul, please? If you name your kid Zebby, he has to be great at sports, or he's going to be beat up the rest of his life. I think that's a risk you take when you name your kid Zebby. Am I lying?
Well, I think it's short for Zebulon, right? Which is an old name. Zebulon Pike with Pikes Peak. I mean, it's a.
You knew that, you freak! Really? I did not know.
Yeah, didn't you not know that? Zebulon Pike is the explorer who was in college, and they named Pikes Peak after him. Zebulon. It's a name.
Good thing you were good at sports, Paul. Good thing you were good at sports, Paul. Just knowing that.
Trivia. I'll win you some money.
Wow. I thought I had a good comment there, and you just blew that out of. Okay. So Zebby could be our next pitcher. Let's go with Pablo first. You got to give the trainers a little cred. He comes out. I give him credit, too. He felt something weird.
He felt it,
He was playing well, but it didn't seem right, and he called in the trainer. He could have pitched another 3, 4, 5, another few pitches. Could have really done some damage, but he is out, our number 1 pitcher, for 8 weeks. We're sitting 2 in the American League Central. I don't even know with him in there we would overtake Detroit. They're the best team in the league right now. But you'd have that second spot. Can we hang in there and keep that second spot with guys like Zebby and Festa?
Yeah. No, that's the open question. I think before the Pablo injury, there was some talk about, hey, Chris Paddock, has had a nice month or so.
Yeah.
But he's coming off of the injury, and with the Twins in need of some offense, they had trouble scoring some runs. Is Chris Paddock, do you sell high on a guy like that who had a good stretch, but you're not sure if it can last, and you need a bat and you need some thump in your offense? Is he the trade bait that you go out and get a bat for him? Now that Pablo's out, I don't know if I'd take Paddock out. He's him and Over and Ryan. We need at least a top 3, because we don't know what we're going to get with Zebby or David Festa. So now I don't know that you dare trade him. And so the starting pitching has been a strength, but without Pablo there for 2 to 3 months, I hear, then you I don't think you're using that as trade bait. Now you just need your lineup to
pick it up.
Ship. And at least, Royce Lewis got his hit, so he's no longer 0 for 32.
0 for 32. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's go down that line. The Twins aren't going to spend any money at trade time. I don't care. They think they could possibly limp into a playoff spot. That's all we care for. They're trying to sell the team. There's not going to be a change in this roster. I mean, of any depth. Am I lying?
No, you're not. You're absolutely right. The good news is that the Twins farm system is quite strong right now, and so when we bring guys up, they can contribute. You look at Cody Clemens, and you look at some of these other young guys. They're stepping in and doing all right. Yeah. So I don't think we need to make a huge splash. I think we can rely on our depth, and I think we'll be all right. So, no, with their ownership situation, they're not going to invest in a big free agent.
Yeah.
But I'm not
even
sure
without it, they wouldn't. This team does the least amount of those big trades at any given time. They're not. I just don't want to waste. I got 30 seconds, Paulie. Yep. Once again, if you're anywhere near Savage tonight, the place to be. The band starts at 8:30. You want to get there early because it's Neeson's is a sports bar and lounge, so there's liquor and food and everything. You want to get there early, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's a great room. It's a great place. The food is good. Sports bar fare, and no, we're excited. It's going to be a good time, and our stuff is all over the map. We do 80s, 90s. We do current stuff. It's danceable, and
it'll be a good time.
Guys singing and gals singing. We're going to have a good time, and I think everybody will. So
be sure to get there. Neeson Sports Bar and Lounge. It's Paul with the main thing.